Alright, so welcome back to Whitehouse Farm. What we're going to be doing today is complete rear brakes on the Nissan. And these are drum brakes. So we have the drums right here, and that's the part number for them. We got the parts kit. There's your part number. And we're also going to do the wheel cylinders because one was leaking. So I might as well replace both of them. And then there's the actual brake pads right there. So, alright, let's go ahead and get this thing up and get the tire off and get going here. Alright, so as you can see, these things are pretty darn rusted out. This is what happens when you live in the Northeast and there's a ton of salt all the time. Alright, let's go ahead and get that off. Alright, got that off. Woo! That thing's seen its days. See, you can see where that wheel cylinder has just been leaking. So we're going to replace that too. And just remember, when you're doing this stuff, you can always take pictures. That way you know where everything goes. And then you come back to it. And if all else fails, you have a whole nother side that you can look at if you misplace parts or wondering where stuff goes. Alright, so let's go ahead and take these two pins out here with that springs are holding it down. There we go. I can pull the pin out the back there. With all the rust. So we got that out of there now. And now we'll get this side right here. Pin out the back. Ah, so rusted. And now we can remove that top spring. Just like that. That should come down. And you can see the spring down here. You can go ahead and take that off of there. You can lay your parts out too, the way you get them out, so you remember how it goes back on for the new one, just in case. There's your brake adjuster right there, and normally you lube these up so they turn easy. And now with this side, so now we gotta take this little horseshoe clip off here so we can get the pin out, because your emergency brakes are tied into these, and also the spring there. So we gotta release the spring and then take that off, and that'll separate your emergency brake cable, which you can see right there. So we can go ahead and pop this spring off here. And now with this little horseshoe clip right here, we can go ahead and use a flathead or whatever you got and back that out of there. There we go. There we go. Got that off now. Alright, so as you can see, that's what it pretty much looked like. And obviously you got your springs and pins that hold it down on here. But now we need to go one step further, and we're going to have to remove the wheel cylinder here. So let's go ahead and get that off. And you got two bolts here in the back, and we're going to have to soak them down with some PB Blast. Because everything is rusty with this. Those bolts are going to be 10 millimeter. Alright, got one to free up. Let's try this other one. That's always good when you can get both of them to free up. So as usual, this is always fun. That's stripping out. So I went ahead and soaked the lower line there. I'm gonna see if disconnect this and maybe just put a new line on as well. Love rust. Alright. So I at least got this line loose. Oh, there we go. Alright, so I'll pull that whole sucker out. So I gotta go get a new line now, unfortunately. Unless I could try and get that out, but it's rusted up in there. Yeah, and this is pretty rusted down here anyways. So let's get a new line. And you can see how bad that was leaking. And here's the new one. So, yeah, big difference. So, all right, let's go ahead and grab a new line, and you know what, I'm gonna grab a line for the other side too, because I'm assuming it's gonna be the same way. Alright, so we got our new lines. Alright, so we want to turn this straight piece into this. So let's get it at least as close as we can. A little safety pipe bender here. So, right about there. Alright, let's go ahead and bust some rust off here. Alright, so here's our new one. We got it partially bent to match the old one. Let's go ahead and take this plug out. And we can thread this in. And we'll just get it hand tight for now. And we can go ahead and Put it through here. So we got that there. Let's run the 2 bolts through the back here. Hold this in place. Once again, 10mm. We can go ahead and tighten that up. Alright, so that's on there nice and tight. Let's go ahead and start assembling everything. And here's all of our hardware, our new pieces, and we got our shoes down here. So we're replacing this spring on the emergency brake, which holds into here and the shoe. And this is going to go this way here. Should look like that. So this piece will come behind here, and then you take your spring and it's going to go down this hole, and then it's going to turn and it's going to come out the back hole here, and it should sit in there just like that. Then you're going to take one of your shoes and you're going to put it on here, and that spring's going to line up with here. And you're going to hook that in. Just like that. So that's in there now. And you're going to make sure this is pushed all the way through. There's paint, fresh paint and stuff, so you gotta try and push this through. Now, this came with new clips there. We're gonna go ahead and put one in there. Just like that. There we go. So that's on there now. And this is going to come up here. You can set that there for now. We're going to take our next spring out of the bag here. And this is going to go through right there. Just like that. And we're going to put the other side on and then get that on there. So here it is. And get that on there like that. We're going to get one of our big springs out. And that's going to go right in there. Now with our brake adjuster here, let's put some never sees in here, and then also put some in here, because you definitely don't want these seizing up on you. And we're just going to put a little dab in here. And then a little dab on here. Alright, so you want to open it up a little bit. And we'll go with that for right now. And this is going to go in between here. Just like that. It's in there like that. And now this piece is gonna come up and that's gonna go in there, but you gotta go ahead and do this all at once, all together. So that's what it's gonna look like. And then you want to go ahead and get this spring across to hold everything together. Before I forget, get a little grease, some never sees in the backs of these here, because that's where the metal on metal rides. And get this set up. We'll run the pin through the back here. There we go. And got our spring. And this piece here is gonna face in. Alright, so we got our bottom spring back in. We got our two side springs and pins that hold the brake shoes. We got the new emergency brake spring in. We got our top spring in. And we got our new wheel cylinder in. Now we just got to go ahead and bend the tube to go ahead and fit in here correctly. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we just need to tighten that up, and we won't bleed this out yet. We still have to do the other side, and I'm pretty sure we're probably gonna have to replace the steel line for the brakes on the other side too. Alright, let's tighten this one up here. Alright, so we have our new rotor here, and we'll go ahead and clean out the inside really quick from any of the oils from the factory. And we're probably gonna have to adjust this. So let's go ahead and put this on and see where we're at. And to adjust it, right in there is probably gonna have to take your rotor off, on and off a couple times until you get it to where it's set where you need it. A little bit better. Okay, so just to recap with this, because it can be confusing to some people, you want this to be on there snug. Like you'll realize if you can't put it on, it's too tight, and then you'll have to use a flathead. Actually, you'll have to use 2 flatheads or something and push back on that piece back here, and then you can go ahead and rotate this down to tighten it back up so you can fit your rotor back on. But if you really want to try and set it just right, like I'm going up, so this is expanding it right now, it's making it wider, so it's gonna be harder to put the rotor on, and that's what you want. You want it right at that very fine position where you can just get it on and be able to turn it. You don't want it so you get it on, you can't move it. You still want to be able to turn it. But that's the thing with drum brakes. They're a little different, but you know, it just takes some adjustment. So you got to take them on and off, and you'll realize when you're driving it, see how it feels. If you feel like it needs to be tightened up, you could take it off. Also, it'll be worn in a little bit, then pressing on the brakes, and it'll wear some of this down a little bit. It'll be easier to put on and adjust from there. But basically get them on to where it's pretty snug. It's hard to do this with the camera in front of me. But so we got that on there, and you still want to be able to turn it. So I think we're good right there. So now we can go ahead and throw the tire back on, and we can go ahead and do the other side. Alright, so this sucker is just as bad. Hopefully that line is good though, but we'll see. I got another one just in case.
Perfect.
See how bad that one was leaking. All right, so now that we got everything back together, it's time to bleed the brakes. My wife's gonna come out and pump them up for me while I go ahead and bleed the air out. And we're gonna use that brake bottle bleeder that I made. You can check out that video. Go ahead and scroll through, it's in there. And we're also gonna top this off right now because we did lose some. And we're also gonna be putting more brake fluid in, so let's go ahead and fill this up right now. Alright, so you're going to want to pull that little rubber protector off there so you can attach your hose. Slip that on there just like that. That's all set up. So now we're just gonna have her go ahead and pump the brakes up, and we'll go ahead and get the air out. And then hold it. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, release.
Yep.
All right, go ahead and pump it up. And then hold it.
Okay.
All right, so we did that. So just inspect, make sure nothing's leaking. Everything is tight. Now we can move on to the other side. All right, so that's all set. No leaks. Let's go ahead and take this thing for a test drive. All right, and we're all topped off. We'll be doing a valve cover gasket on here, starting to leak some oil. So that'll be another video. All right, driving good and braking good. Oh yeah, there we go. That's what we needed. So, all right, braking good, stopping. It's the most important part. Let's head back to the house. All right, so we're all set. Got new brakes on the back there and new wheel cylinders. You see, it's pretty easy. You just gotta take your time with it. A lot of rust, especially up here in the Northeast. And I just want to show you some of the old brakes. I mean, that was shot. That's why I was making so much noise. But, all right, guys. So once again, we hope you guys like, enjoy, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, bye, guys.
You can't say goodbye without saying goodbye to me.
All right, Olaf. We'll see you on the next one. All right, bye, Obo.
Hi, guys.